Well, it's the day after Christmas here in Illinois, and probably where you're at, you're experiencing much the same warm weather. Look at that. This is that little 10 frame deep that I'm trying to overwinter that I'm not too optimistic about. It's still going good so far. Uh, got some strong colonies in the middle of winter. Winter just started actually a few days ago, technically. But as you can see, all the colonies are just doing really well. A lot of activity. Here's the one that keeps eating all the winter bee kinds that we've been watching. Crazy, isn't it? What's up? I'm David Burns. Oh, wait! I've got my Christmas sweater on. There, that's better. Hey everybody, David Burns. Thanks for joining my beekeeping channel today. I'm here to help you to have a better experience keeping bees by making fewer mistakes and keeping healthier bees. And today I'm going to talk about the location of your colony. A lot of you are getting started in beekeeping in 2022, and I know you're wondering about where do you put that hive at? What's the best location? So today I'm going to talk about where is the best place to put your hive. So obviously the best place to put your hive is really next to a real good nectar source. A lot of beekeepers are keeping bees in places where there's not much for bees to go out and gather. If you live in a place where there's a lot more farm fields that bees aren't going to, like corn and beans, and there's not much clover, there's not much alfalfa, dandelions, there's not many fruit trees available in your area, then your bees are up against a battle. And that could be why some of the problems you're having with your colonies, not only not producing enough honey for you, but also experiencing low populations and disease, could be because the colony just can't build up enough if they're not getting a good supply of nectar. Now, keep in mind that you don't have to have an immediate source of nectar right in your yard. Bees will fly 2, 3, or even further miles away to gather nectar if it's available there. Now, another thing that contributes to the best location to have bees is where it's warmer. And let's face it, bees really work better in warmer climates. If we put bees in really cold climates, they have more working against them. They have a shorter season and they have a colder winter to survive. Going to be harder. Now they can do it, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that if you can put them in a warmer climate, then they'll do a lot better, I think, than they do in very extremely cold climates. Having said that, yes, people in Canada, Alaska, further northern states, they get along fine with bees, but you just have to know what you're doing to help your bees survive the winter. So if you can put them, maybe if you don't have a choice to live in a warmer state, you can place them in a warmer spot on your property. Now in my case, I love keeping them on the south side of one of my buildings because in the wintertime, the southern sun does help to keep those colonies a little bit more warm. Obviously, another thing is what you see back here on a sign, no spraying please. If you can place your bees farther away from fields where they do spray pesticides or insecticides on their crops, even fungicides, everybody feels a little bit better. Now, I know in some studies the jury is still out on whether or not sprays are harming bees, and there's been some studies indicating that it doesn't. But it still makes us all feel a little bit better when we know that our bees aren't being sprayed by some chemicals. Even though in the label it may be safe, it still gives us kind of an uneasy feeling. So if you can find a place away from farmers' fields that your bees aren't going to be touched or maybe doused a little bit with that spray, then that's probably going to be something that will make you feel a lot better. Now, having said that, there are hives in the city that are still affected by sprays, especially mosquito spray. Some mosquito sprays are very deadly to honeybees. That spray can drift up into your colony and kill your hive. So we have to be concerned even about people that are spraying in residential homes, they're spraying their gardens or their trees. Those sprays can affect bees as well. So if you can get your bees in a place where they're less affected by sprays, I think that's a better option. And finally, a great place to keep bees is where it's sunny a lot more than cloudy. Some states are more sunny than others. And some places in the U.S., it stays very cloudy and rainy more during the year than other states. Some states are known as being very, very sunny. Now, you can obviously take that to an extreme where the desert's always sunny, but there's nothing in the desert for bees to go to. But you do have to balance that out. If you live in a place where it's sunny and yet there's still an abundance of nectar sources there, it just means that the more sunny it is, the more sunny days you have, the more bees are going to fly. On cloudy, rainy days, the bees aren't going to be able to go out and fly and gather nectar. Now, I want to drill down a little bit deeper for those of you starting beekeeping in 2022 and you're not sure where to put your colony yet. Listen, consider this. What direction should they face? Really doesn't matter. But if they can get a little more sunlight on them earlier in the day, it's going to bring them out sooner so they can go out and gather more nectar. So if you can have them facing east or southeast, we feel that's a good direction to face. If you can't do that, it just means your bees are going to wake up and get going a little bit later, an hour or two later. No harm done. What kind of stand do you use? Anything that gets the hive up off the ground a little bit. You know, the ground is moist after a rain or some dew, and if you can keep your woodenware, the hive, up off the ground, it's going to be better for the bees and your equipment. So I would say if you can keep your hive at least 6 inches to 2 feet off the ground on some sort of a hive stand, then that works really good. If you look at my online beekeeping course online, I go into greater detail about things that you can use as a hive stand. I'll leave a link here for my online courses. Of course, it's always a good idea to keep your hives away from the public's eye. Sometimes people are curious. Teenagers may throw rocks or try to push it over, or if you're in a pasture, a cow may bump up against it, knock it over. A deer may rub up against it and knock the lid off, or coons could take the lid off, things like that. You have to think ahead of time about the location, what's going to affect my hive. Is it in a real close proximity of a public school playground? And are those bees going to be bothering children in the playground? Is it going to be next to my neighbor's swimming pool? Things like that. So try to use good judgment, common sense on where to place your hive so that it doesn't attract a lot of attention, especially from people that may not like bees that close to them. Another great thing to think about is a windbreak. That can be a building, maybe like I mentioned, putting them on the south side of the building in the wintertime to block the northern wind. Maybe you've got a building, maybe you have some a hedgerow, maybe you've got some trees close together, something that you can kind of keep the wind from pounding against your hive, especially in the wintertime. Of course, having a water source is a great thing. Now, that can be a creek running through your property. That can be a mile or two away. It could be a nearby pond, or it could be you buying a bird bath like you've seen me, adding some sticks to a bird bath on your property and making sure water stays in the bird bath so bees can get water. Now, the day after tomorrow, I'm going to share another video with you how beekeeping changed my life, and that'll be a fun video. In that video, I'm going to tell you only in that video something that you can do for a short window of time to receive 50% off our beekeeping online courses. We're doing that because many of you mentioned that you missed that Black Friday sale that we had at 50% off on our online courses. I don't know how you missed that, but I believe you, and it's unfortunate. So we're going to open up in a little window of time where those go on sale. But the only way you'll find out about it is the day after tomorrow's video on how beekeeping changed my life. If you'll watch that upcoming video, then I'll explain it there. Now, it's a pretty exciting time for many of you that are thinking about beekeeping in 2022. And you can see a sign back here that says packages of bees. Our packages of bees will go on sale January the 1st in just a few days. They sell out very quickly. And it's for local pickup here at our honeybee farm here in central Illinois, outside of Champaign, Illinois. But if you're keeping bees next year for the first time, or if you kept bees for the first time this year and you didn't feel good about how things went, and you did not take a beekeeping class, this is something that I really encourage you to do. Please take one of my online beekeeping courses. They are so helpful in you learning beekeeping before you dive into it and kind of get lost in all the complexity of it that you really didn't expect when you start having some issues. So take one of my beekeeping classes. I'll leave links in the description below how you can do that. That's going to be so helpful for you. Oh, and by the way, we had a great time. Sherry and I had a great time on a video, the last video that we made. It was a video where I explained to you how it is that a drone, the male honeybee, has a grandfather, but he doesn't have a dad. And I explained that. Sherry and I had a great time in that video talking about Christmas and things. If you haven't checked that video out, the last one I made, you need to do that now. It'd be a fun one for you to watch. I know you might have missed it with all your Christmas activities. Check it out. You'll like that one.